Chapter 41. Blood brothers feud over one woman. Huan Chul was desperate to get Riel's memory back and perhaps find him in her memory. He was everything in his capacity to help Riel remember their past. He was so down and frustrated when Hyunki found him in his office, and Hyunki immediately approached him with concern. "What's the matter, Nam Dongseong? Is there a problem you want to talk about?" Huan Chul raised his eyes to Hyunki and said in a quavering tone, "Problem? You are my problem. If only you didn't deny me time with Mari, she could have regained her memory quicker. Then she could have decided who between us she loved. I couldn't stand seeing you both in love when it should be me, Hyung." Hyunki was appalled and never imagined Huan Chul was concealing envy against him. "Why are you thinking that way, bro? Me? Denying you? Didn't I entrust you to care for Riel while I'm away? You got all the chances to be with her, got much time to bring her to memory lane, and you're blaming me because she was still at a loss." Hyunki was mad, pointing his finger at Huan Chul. "You cannot force Riel to recall everything in one finger flick, Huan. You have to be patient. If there's someone who was much more eager to make her regain her memory, that would be me. I wanted to marry her, but I couldn't propose marriage to her. Not even the slightest hint to ask her for marriage because I am considering your words. Remember what you told me? You said, what if her memory returned and you were already married one day? In the middle of your happy life, she remembered me and realized she was very much in love with me. Where and how would I be? How would she face life when I had already tied her in marriage with me, only to realize that she loved you more than she loved me? Do you think I could be happy when I made her life miserable, then leaving the three of us broken because of that memory lapse she had? It was unfair, right?" Hyunki was getting emotional that he was almost in tears. "I couldn't understand why this had happened to us, and it was like fate had been playing us. What is this? Survival of the fittest?" Hyunki continued. "I don't want us to end in bitterness or end up as rivals to the point of becoming enemies. Do what you think that may help Riel find you in that dark hole, and I'll keep loving her." Then Hyunki turned, extended his hand to Huan Chul, and said, "May the best man win." Hyunki was walking away when Huan Chul raised his suggestion. "Don't stop me if I invite her to go out with me sometimes. And don't restrict her free time by yourself. Give her time to breathe in her own space. That's all I ask." "That's fair, right?" Huan Chul was standing behind Hyunki, waiting for his reply. Hyunki turned to Hwan, looking at him longer, then nodded and walked away. The following day, Hyunki and Riel had just got off the car. They were walking through the entrance lobby when the security guard greeted the CEO with a bow, then handed Riel a red rose and said to her, "This helps brighten your day, miss," then extended his hand to show the way. Riel smiled, thinking that those words were familiar to her. Hyunki remained quiet, suspecting the rose was Huan Chul's idea. Then as they walked by the information counter, the receptionist walked to her and handed her another red rose, and said again, "This helps brighten your day, Miss Riel." Hyunki raised an eyebrow, showing a fake smile. When inside the elevator, no one was there, but the two of them. Hyunki held Riel's waist and whispered, "I love you, babe." Riel looked into his eyes and then leaned her head on Hyun's chest. They were about to walk toward the CEO's office from the elevator when a cleaner handed her another red rose, saying the exact words. Riel smiled and nodded, saying, "Thank you." When she entered her office, the two secretaries smiled and greeted her, simultaneously handing her another two red roses. Alexis said, "These red roses came from Mr. Huan Chul, Miss Riel. Wishing you a wonderful day." Then Louis placed a pretty vase on Riel's table to put in all the red roses. After a while the song "Beautiful in My Eyes" came airing, Riel flinched and faced the glass window, her hand clutching her blouse by her chest with the red roses in her hand. She felt emotional, moved by the song so familiar to her that she couldn't help her tears to fall. She had mixed feelings about the music until, once again, flashes of Huan Chul moved into her vision. She had this fluttering feeling for Huan Chul, which she couldn't comprehend. Then Riel felt a presence by her side. When she turned around, Hyunki was there with a concerned look in his eyes. Riel quickly walked towards Hyunki, embracing him tightly, and wept. "What is happening to me, babe? Why does that song continue haunting me, and each time I see Huan Chul's image, it bothers me?" Hyunki held Riel's face and gently spoke, "Maybe a part of you is coming out from its shell. That dark hole is slowly opening, and once it opens entirely, your lost memory will soon resurface. Keep it slow. Don't panic, okay? I'll always be by your side to pull you from your darkness. I love you so much." Hyunki embraced her with closed eyes, filling her with so much love. But I don't want to get out of that shell, Hyun. I am terrified. What if Hwonchul was at the edge of that dark hole, and I couldn't find you? What will happen to us? I don't want to lose you, babe. You are my entire being. If I'd lose you, I would rather forget myself, too, Riel uttered. You won't lose me, babe. I promise. I'll always be your strength here and never let you go, even if it would mean my reasonable and rational behavior. My sanity, Hyunaki replied. Hyunaki and Riel stared at each other, their eyes locked, looking at each other in silence, their emotions entangled helplessly. They were in this spot when Hwonchul entered Reeler's office and caught them in a romantic mood. He fidgets, feeling jealous, and says, I'm sorry if I bothered your romance. I'll come back later. He closed the door quickly, looking glum. Hyunaki and Riel looked at each other, feeling so in love that nothing could distract their attention from each other. And then they kissed passionately, torridly, and intensely. A little later, Hyunkiri turned to his office when Reeler's phone rang, and Hwonchul was at the end of the line. Hello, Riel. Could I have a coffee break with you at this hour? Asked Hwonchul. Sure, Chul. I'll tell Hyun I'll be going out for a while. Where will I meet you? Riel asked. I'm coming to take you to the restaurant across the building. Just like before. Well, okay then, ended Riel. Then she hurriedly came to Hyunaki to let him know where she would be. Okay, but I'll have you for our lunch. Take a light meal only, babe, Hyunki remarked. Hwonchul brought Riel to the restaurant across their building, and some employees met them along the way. They gave their opinions about their VP and Riel, assuming that something was going on between them. Others believed that their CEO had a particular interest in Riel. They somehow felt excited that the brothers were both into Riel and decided to watch the three of them closely. The day after Hwonchul caught Hyunaki and Riel in a romantic scene, he got restless. He wanted to end his disillusionment over Riel, so he decided to see Mrs. Kalma, Reeler's mom. He longed to tell her he was back and willing to make up everything with Riel, and most importantly, ask for Mrs. Kalma's forgiveness. He told Hyunki that morning that he might come in late to work. He waited for Hyunki to leave, then, in a few minutes, called Mangben to drive him to Reeler's place. Mangben was initially hesitant when Hwonchul told him he would see Reeler's mom. I know what you're thinking, Mangben, and I am willing to accept whatever Mrs. Kalma would say. I have to do this, so I can be accessible to Riel more often, Hwonchul said. Does Sir Hyunaki know about your plan, Hwon? And will you tell Mrs. Kalma that you're his brother? Hwonchul was silent for a moment, considering Mangben's question. Should Mrs. Kalma know about my family? She only knew about mom and dad, but about my siblings? I don't think so. And why would she be concerned about my siblings? It is only I that mattered to Reeler's mom because I caused Riel to lose part of her memory, and there's no reason I should tell her about my siblings. Besides, Hyun Ki nor Riel ever mentioned anything about Hyunki and I being brothers. Let us leave that to another time. Hwonchul paused for a few seconds, then remarked, We better go. Mangben drove to a clinic and rang the doorbell. Then a nurse answered. I would like to see Dr. Kalma, please, asked Hwonchul. The doctor is with a patient at the moment. And do you have an appointment with her? Asked the nurse. No, I am sorry, but this was sudden. But I can wait. Hwonchul found a seat in front of Dr. Kalma's cubicle door. Where is the child she is supposed to check on? Asked the nurse. No, that's not why I wanted to see her. Please tell her I am Reeler's friend. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let the doctor know when the patient's checkup is over. May I have your name, please? My name is Hwonchul. Thank you. The nurse entered Dr. Kalma's cubicle and placed the note on her table. And as soon as the little girl with her mother came out of the booth, Dr. Kalma was shocked in disbelief. Holding the message, she went out of her cubicle to see if it really was Hwonchul. The long wait is over. Mrs. Kalma, at last, comes face to face with Hwonchul. Could she forgive Hwonchul, knowing that he was the reason why Riel almost lost her life, got unconscious for months, and lost a part of her memory, making her daughter live with an incomplete piece of herself? Keep following me on my YouTube channel and TikTok. Take advantage of more exciting episodes in the Windows of the Heart series.